A simulated IED goes off at the Camp Pendleton training grounds, testing the 11th Marine Expeditionary Unit, or MEU's, ability to handle a mass casualty emergency. On-site commanders order the injured be medevaced offshore to the USS Bonhomme Richard. It's up to the CH-46 helicopters to do the job. The 11th MEU operates 12 Boeing Vertol CH-46s. This 18,000-pound medium-lift helicopter is one of the largest in the U.S. military.
The given name is the Sea Knight, but everybody, the crew and pilots lovingly call it the Frog.
Captain Russ Johnson knows he can count on the Frog when the heat is on. His Marine Corps resume includes flying missions in Afghanistan and Iraq.
It flies like a dream, really. It's a fantastic aircraft to fly, very simple, and all the pilots have to do is learn to let it fly itself, and then it has an easy time getting us where we need to be.
The CH-46 has two counter-rotating three-bladed main rotors. Its two General Electric T-58 turbine engines produce a total of more than 1,700 shaft horsepower.
Inside the 46, what you've got back here is my transmission system, and forward of that, two engines, which basically those two engines put input into the transmission system. In the event that I lose one of these engines, then the other engine will be able to take the load and continue to spin both rotor systems and keep me flying.
The CH-46 is extremely stable because its dual rotors cancel out the common helicopter tendency to counter-rotate. Its ability to easily maneuver sideways and backwards makes it an ideal aircraft for amphibious operations.
It's the nature of being here on the ship. Sometimes there's aircraft on a spot either in front or behind you, and it doesn't leave you a whole lot of room for error as far as landing on your spot.
The Frog cruises at a steady 145 knots, can fly 90 nautical miles without refueling, and can carry 5,000 pounds of equipment and troops.
We'll take 12 combat-loaded Marines into the fight or out of the fight, whatever the case may be.
Flying into the fight can put the 46 in the line of fire. A little strategically placed Kevlar helps protect this bird's vital organs.
The aircraft is armored here, right behind the right seat pilot, which protects our flight control system, and we also have some engine armor to protect our engines.
When things get ugly, the 46 has the guns to shoot back. Two door-mounted M2s are usually more than enough firepower to clear the landing zone.
This is where we hang the right door gun, our 50 caliber door-mounted machine gun. This is where this will be when we go into combat.
The CH-46 is first introduced in 1964 to meet Marine Corps medium lift requirements in Vietnam. This versatile workhorse quickly proves its value in the battle zone. January 1968. North Vietnamese forces cut off supply lines to the Khe Sanh Marine Base in northwestern Vietnam. For the next 70 days, the isolated base endures constant bombardment.
They're completely cut off. There are no roads in at this point. They're burning through artillery and mortar ammunition. And if you don't keep the supplies coming, you're either going to have to evacuate them, which is going to be very difficult in a siege condition, or, worst of all, they're going to have to surrender.
Countless 46s brave a gauntlet of anti-aircraft fire as they fly medevac and supply missions into the besieged Marine base.
They were challenged not only by weather, very often bad weather conditions, fog, rain. There were also hilltops all the way around them and constant fire.
At its peak, the helicopter airlift delivers as much as 40 tons of bullets, beans and Band-Aids per day to Khe Sanh, enabling the Marines to eventually break the siege. Some of the 46s operating on board the Bonhomme Richard today have been in service since the late 1960s. Of course, the engines and avionics are updated, but these basic aircraft flew historic missions like the Battle for Khe Sanh.
There's a lot of great pilots and great aircrewmen that have been in these aircraft before, so it's actually very humbling to know the history that some of these aircraft had.
The CH-46's days in action are numbered. The Marine Corps is in the process of retiring the CH-46 from U service and replacing it with the MV-22 Osprey. This revolutionary tilt-rotor aircraft can take off, hover, and land like a helicopter. Once airborne, the nacelles rotate 90 degrees forward. The Osprey instantly becomes a fuel-efficient turboprop airplane. The MV-22 has a cruise speed of 277 miles per hour and can carry loads up to 15,000 pounds.
Our current medium-lift helicopters give us about 90 nautical miles range. The Ospreys will probably triple, if not quadruple, that range.
As for firepower, a .30 caliber machine gun is stationed at the rear loading door. The Osprey is well adapted to the Mew's shipboard space limitations. The wings and prop rotors fold up for below-deck storage. Once on deck, the aircraft can be ready for flight in less than 3 minutes. The East Coast-based 22nd MEU begins operating 10 MV-22 Osprey in May of 2009. This versatile tilt-rotor aircraft is expected to replace all CH-46s in the MEU fleet by 2017. Until then, pilots like Captain Johnson will gladly keep flying the beloved Frog. Back at the Camp Pendleton training range, the choppers touch down in a makeshift landing zone. With the IED casualties aboard, the medevac teams head back to the Bonhomme Richard.
Our primary mission is a casualty receiving ship, and we're on standby to receive any casualties from ashore.
Senior Chief Brad Cowitz runs the Bonhomme Richard's first-class medical facility. In the event of a real mass casualty situation, this forward-deployed floating hospital can handle more than 600 patients.
This is one of our main operating rooms on board, and we have a total of 6.
More than 80 people work in the ship's hospital. In addition to handling major trauma, the facility provides general medical and dental care for the 2,000-plus Marines and sailors stationed on board.
We have a complete pharmaceutical support. We have laboratory support. We have our own blood bank on board. We have our own biomedical repair on board. We have the operating and surgical capabilities.
As the CH-46s bring in the IED casualties, things are getting busy up on the flight deck. The MEU operates a total of 33 aircraft off the Bonhomme Richard, everything from UH-1N Hueys to Harrier jets. With multiple airborne training missions in progress, it's up to the Navy aircraft handler to manage the traffic flow.
Basically, in this office, or in this space right here, we're controlling the movement of aircraft, the landing, where they should be positioned. Eventually, there'll be elevator runs.
The aircraft handler oversees the arrangement of planes and helicopters up on the flight deck and down below on the hangar deck. The biggest challenge is avoiding a locked deck, where aircraft are parked in positions that block the flow of flight operations.
It's like a little bit of a chess game because certain aircraft can fit by others, some can't. So it's just a little bit of thinking ahead, a little bit of a chess game, and a lot of experience.
The ship's onboard control tower juggles a barrage of incoming and outgoing air traffic, while the deck crew makes sure the aircraft are fueled and ready to go.
Once flight ops get going, we have a plan to work off of, and most of the time somehow that plan gets changed a little bit and those guys have to be on their toes, which they usually are.
As flight ops move into full swing, a situation is developing up on the bridge.
Officer to deck. Surface contact 260, 7 miles out. Looks like a cargo ship.
A commercial ship is on a collision course with the Bonhomme Richard. The ship's bridge is not responding to repeated radio calls.
Tanker Oceanic, this is Aircraft Carrier 6, hailing you channel 16, over.
The ship could turn to avoid the oncoming traffic, but 2 helicopters are coming in for a landing. The ship needs to maintain speed and course until the birds are on the deck.
We're gonna maintain our course so that you can recover these birds right now, and then as soon as you recover them, then we're gonna maneuver.
Changing your course is going to change the wind direction, it's going to change the geometry. It's a big deal, and you don't want to have to brief that in the air to a bunch of inbound helicopters who may be short of fuel.
The teamwork pays off. The helicopters are on deck and the bridge adjusts course to avoid the tanker. This intensive training is a chance for the Navy and the Marines to practice working together to achieve mission objectives.
You get to understand each other's capabilities, each other's limitations, each other's perspectives on what's important day to day. So during training, we form, nurture, and cement those relationships, and then during deployment, we get to capitalize on them.
The U.S. Navy helps the MEU get into the fight. Then it's up to the Marines to hit the enemy hard.